Hey guys, and welcome back. Now this is going to be a first for me. I know I've done a couple vlogs in the past, mind you, not that many, but this is going to be my first time doing a convention vlog. Now I've been going to cons since like 2010 or so. I know, it's been a while. Now you guys know that I love sharing my process with you guys, what I've learned, the good things I've learned, the mistakes I've made, and I thought it would be really nice if I interviewed some cosplayers at the convention so that they could share the very same thing with you guys. Now, Ganime is a very small con in January, so yes, it is indoors. But that aside, I figured it would be a fantastic opportunity to test this format out, and of course I would love your guys' feedback, because I definitely want to keep doing this in the future, but I would like to improve on it. A couple months before the con, I was in charge of painting our Gulper stage prop. A projector really comes in handy for these sorts of things. Also, I knew this giant piece of cardboard would be useful someday. The whole process was pretty chaotic and stressful, so not much footage of the painting, but after a while it started to take shape and I'm super happy with it. And I don't want to throw it out. Up out of nowhere, all like... Anyways, I also had to get some more of my prosthetics poured out in preparation for wearing the ghoul cosplay. This is my first time making molds and pouring prosthetics, so there are things that I would change about them, but still, I think they're pretty cool. But for some reason, my silicone is really gooey compared to when the guy in the YouTube video was doing it, so I have to mess with it a bunch and clean everything. Maybe it's a temperature thing. And now, forward through time to when we arrive at Sairen Song's place. We met Sairen's apprehensive kitty Nemo and got some Pete with sauce, of course, and a stuffed crust.
You want a stuffed crust? Here's a fucking stuffed crust right here!
Oh, I'm sorry. Last night we worked on Sairen's vault suit and other bits and pieces. The rest would be finished up later tonight when we get back. But for now, it's Friday, the first day of the con, and a walk down memory lane. The con takes place in a rented space above a mall and food court connected to an actual convention center, connected to a hotel. So up the escalator we go. So I'm doing it on the smallest decibel level because I tested it and the medium one sounded the best, but then we started playing crowd noises on the PC. And then we were like, oh no, it picks up everything.
Oh.
There's a Zamboni!
Carpet Zamboni. Oh.
He'll be back, right? Where is he? I wasn't lying.
He's gone into the void.
We're at Ganime. We've been coming to Ganime for a long time, and then it stopped existing, and then it came back. She was back last year. I didn't go last year, but now I'm here this year.
We're excited to see how many people showed up, because last year it was so small. And it was still fun, but it was a lot smaller than it used to be. So I'm excited to see if it's gotten bigger again.
And this con is small to begin with.
Yeah. It's the little baby con.
Now we're just chilling in line because we didn't realize that they only open their doors at 5. I have a panel at 6 that she's helping with. And then I have an hour where I have nothing, and then I have a panel at 8. And Ken's here too.
Hello, my cosplay name is Sairen Song. I've been cosplaying for about 10 to 15 years now. I love it, it's great.
Tell me something about your cosplay that someone wouldn't know just by looking at it.
It was really hard to make. I thought it would be simple, judging by like the look of it on paper, but then when I actually started making the mock-up and stuff for it, it turned out to be incredibly difficult. A lot of the different pieces, just because of the way it's shaped, where the leather kind of attaches, especially like going down on the leg part, there's just a lot of different shapes that make it come together, and it was kind of hard to wrap my head around what went where.
So essentially it's a giant puzzle that needs to line up perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the most annoying part to make, if that's not the most annoying part to make?
The most annoying part, I'd have to say, is all the pleather parts, because it kept sticking to my sewing machine, and so I had to use interfacing and like stabilizer to help get it through the machine so it would sew evenly and not kind of bunch up.
On this cosplay, have you tried any new techniques you had never tried before?
I've not worked with pleather all that much, and when I did, it was mostly flat pieces. So all the pin tucks in the front and all the pleating and stuff, that was all pretty much new to me for pleather specifically. And the pin tucks I had never done at all before, so that was a really cool thing to learn.
Not just for this cosplay, but throughout the years you've been cosplaying, what is your biggest cosplay wardrobe malfunction?
Oh my goodness. A few years ago, actually, at Otakathon, I went as Kale from League of Legends, and I had used the low heat hot glue to make all my attachments. And as I was wearing it, it was August and it was very warm out, and the glue was melting as I was wearing it, and it started falling apart.
So that's just the heat in general, or were you in direct sunlight?
That was just the heat in general. I was inside the building in the AC.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, I had the helmet on and everything, and I was like literally dripping sweat. It was just so warm in the suit because it was mostly EVA foam and Warbler.
What is your advice to newcomers in the cosplay community?
Mostly just have fun. Do groups with your friends. It's a great time. A lot of people love seeing groups of cosplays too that all kind of match. Try not to sweat the small things and just enjoy it for what it is.
And now for the first panel of the day. This one is called Surviving Masquerade Judging. As someone who has judged masquerades, a question I often get is, what are judges looking for? So I figured, why not turn that question into an entire panel? And of course, Sairen is helping me out because she's the homie. We talk about staff, how it all runs, the divisions, and how prizes work.
I don't know how that myth came to be, but a few years ago, some masquerade directors were like, guys, that's enough. It's not real. And then it started. So now I'm trying to spread that knowledge around so people start realizing it's a myth and they don't feel discouraged being stuck in journeyman.
Now, the myth in question is that in order to move up categories, you needed a certain amount of prizes. So what people used to think was, if you're in the novice division, you need one official prize to move up, and that honorable mentions don't count. And that landed in the journeyman division, you needed 3 prizes to go up to artisan, and then 3 prizes from artisan to go up to master. And it was also said that best in class counted for 2, and that best in show meant an automatic bump up. And for the most part, that is a myth. That's right, you can actually choose when you want to go up categories, and you can stay in a category for as long as you want. Although, if you stay in a category for a long time, people are going to start being like, okay, buddy, it's time to move up. Now, you can check these things out on the ICG website. I believe the only part of the myth that is actually true is that a best in show might actually bump you up. Listen, I've been in the master division for a while, so I haven't really brushed up on this in a while, though I do take a peek at it before I go do my masquerade panel.
Okay, judge me.
My favorite part of this panel is the live demonstration of what goes on when you're being judged for workmanship. And we do this before we discuss the specifics of stage.
Now because it's been a while since 3D printers have been out. But
I plan on maybe making a video on this topic specifically someday if that would interest you.
did you say? You know, I got that from Texas. I'm Scourge. I've been given this position at the Bifrost. I'm important. Yes. You know, and then you go on stage, you kind of forgot all about your nerves because your mind and you're like.
So there wasn't that many people at my panel, and I think a big reason for that is because the scheduling was a little bit strange. It was incredibly difficult, if maybe not impossible, especially on the mobile website, to find the panel schedule. What it was a little QR code, I believe, at the back of the pass. And it's silly, although we carry our passes around, it's not always a thing that we look at very closely. So yeah, anyways, the room was a little bit empty, but that doesn't really matter to me. My masquerade panel is really meant to inform, to maybe calm some people's nerves down, or to attract people to the masquerade if they're cosplayers and they want to maybe try something new at a convention. So whether there's 1 person there or 100 people there, though 100 I'd be like, whoa, that's a lot of people for this panel. It's usually not that popular. Listen, I know it sounds cliche, the whole like, ooh, if I can change 1 person, you know. I'd say that's not what I'm saying, but it kind of is what I'm saying. I'm very passionate about the Masquerade, so if I can draw anybody in towards it, or if I can ease anybody's Masquerade experience, that's a win for me.
Do you have a cosplayer name or a costumer name?
No, that's my first time here.
No? Do you have any social media, anything like that?
Not yet. It's in the making.
Not yet. So how long have you been making costumes or cosplaying?
Oh my god, this is my first time, but years ago I was in a fashion design school.
Okay.
Well, I'm in general into art and crafts, so I do different things all the time. It's not just one thing. Enjoyed doing the head, so I put these pieces together and the feather. I did the dress.
The dress is really beautiful.
Thank you. So this dress is probably 3.60 meters. Yeah, there's a lot of fabric in this, so it took me a long time actually to sew this one. It was costumes, but when I would paint something, it goes wrong, I would just put it away, but then maybe weeks later I would just go over it and until I really like it. When something goes wrong, it's actually really great because it then will turn out into something.
Have you ever watched Bob Ross?
Yes.
It's the happy little accidents.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. It's true.
It's really true. Just have fun, really.
Yeah.
Have fun. And for me, it was really to enjoy the process. Like the the days that I worked on it, I really enjoyed that. So it's just it's a highlight, right?
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Now, this costume maker is not necessarily a cosplayer, and I find that amazing. Anytime I meet people at conventions who aren't deeply ingrained in the cosplay community, those people have really interesting things to say, and if you're a cosplayer, you should definitely pay attention to advice these people have to give. I feel like as cosplayers, we're really good at thinking outside of the box, but beyond that box is a fence that I don't think a lot of people see, and looking beyond that fence can give you a lot of really useful insight in improving your cosplays or changing your perspective a little bit.
I'm Auka Amelie, and I've been cosplaying since 2014. I'm cosplaying as Rosalina, but a version for the Winter Ball. I make my cosplays and I make wigs. The crown is glued on because I tried to just sew it in, and it didn't work because it's harder to do that you can think on a wig.
Yeah, I would have thought sew it in at first as well, but what kind of glue did you end up using?
Since it didn't work and it was last minute, I used the hot glue. So it's hot glued on top of my wig, but it works.
Listen, we have to stop the hot glue shaming, okay? Hot glue is good if used correctly. I can't see any hot glue on her crown.
The corset back, since I never done that before, the little... My first time, so harder than I expected, but makes the dress fit way better than a zipper. It was the first time I was doing a really hard wig like that. Never done that before, but it looks cute. And I've had the
Tinsels?
Tinsels, yes, thanks. The tinsels, I had it on, so it's the first time I used that. Absolutely no makeup on this side.
Oh.
So there's that.
Like that, not have to worry about symmetry on the makeup.
Nope.
What's been your biggest cosplay wardrobe malfunction?
It's not really the wardrobe, but I made a sword, and I was trying to pose for a photo, and it just broke in half live on the photo shoot, so that was a big one.
That's better than a wardrobe malfunction that'll get you in trouble with the police, that's for sure.
No. Try your best. It doesn't matter if you don't look exactly like the character. I'm not 7 feet tall, and that's okay. You don't have to look like them, just have to like the character and enjoy making what you're doing.
My second panel is called Sewing Level Up, Finishing and Weathering.
Especially like suit jackets. Like that. Yes, exactly like that. That's exactly a facing. Examples in the audience.
We also talk about different ways to achieve a clean, polished look with sewing as well, since I like to picture what I'm making having been a complete clean piece once in its life before it became the way you see it today.
Pristine clothing underneath your super battle deck.
One of my favorite parts of the cosplay making process is making the costume look lived in if the design calls for it. And over the years, I've found many ways of going about that.
I did use scissors, but I kind of just went at it like a bit of a psychopathic murderer.
I just want to say, I absolutely loved watching this footage from this angle because It just really cracked me up seeing Sairen's song going around showing the different pieces to demonstrate to the people in the panel. It reminded me of like Igor. And I say this with love because it cracked me up so much.
Yes. Observe.
Cheese grater?
Yeah, that's genius.
Yeah, I remember it working pretty well for tearing like cotton.
Has it been dubbed the cosplay cheese grater after
I
that?
don't know where it is. I don't know where it is.
Finish using it, like, I don't know if I should still use cheese on this.
Costumes pop. When you start
Hi, I'm Venturi Cosplay. I'm cosplaying Puss in Boots from Shrek, and also his own movies, of course. I've been cosplaying on and off since 2010, but more consistently since about 2016, give or take. On my sword here, this bevel part, it's one piece of foam, and I formed it by heating it up and stacking bowls on top of it and under it to make that shape.
So you sandwiched it in the bowls?
I sandwiched it in the bowls to make that shape. It was
What was the most annoying part to make of your cosplay?
the cape. The material was so slippery. I didn't have the right type of feet for my sewing machine, so I just kind of powered through it and just struggled with so many pins.
Well, it turned out beautiful, so,
Thank you.
know, pain in the ass or not, it got there in the
Yeah,
end.
this cosplay, this was the first time I used foam clay to style a lot of little things. So like the little cat heads, and also the little cat tail and the feet on the knife. But that was definitely probably like my new techniques is using the foam clay.
How do you feel about foam clay?
Depends on the day. Some days it's super cooperative, and it also depends on the brand. Like I find because this was made with Lumen's clay foam clay, absolutely fantastic to work with. The one you can buy from Michael's, not so fantastic to work
Not recommended.
with. Not really recommended. Maybe for like super small details, yes, but if you want to do like thicker pieces, not so much. It has a tendency of like melting on itself, basically.
Allegedly. Don't come for us, Michaels.
No, please don't. Oh goodness, cosplay wardrobe malfunction. It's probably my thigh highs that like to keep falling down. Like no matter what I do with it, whether I try to glue them to myself or body tape, anything like that, or sewing them as tight as possible, they always fall down no matter what.
Have you tried the move where you just make tights and have them be a part of your tights?
I did, and I never really succeeded at that, unfortunately. They always I just can't get the stitching right, and or the stockings ripped. I'd love to do that one day, but it hasn't worked out yet, unfortunately. Newcomers to cosplay, just have fun with it, man. Just have fun with it. We all start somewhere. Don't feel ashamed for doing closet cosplays, or if the character isn't as accurate as you want it to be. Just have fun with it. We all start from somewhere, and just go for it. Like, that's all I can really say. Just have fun and go for it.
Just dive right in.
Literally just dive right on in. Cosplay a character you're passionate about, and usually that's like the best way of getting better and wanting to improve yourself in cosplay.
And you'll make some friends.
That too, definitely. And you'll definitely find people from the same fandoms as you, and then some people you will never think you would have met in your entire life.
So you guys may have noticed Ken going around in the background a lot. And what he was doing is he was going to look for cosplayers for me to interview so that I wouldn't have to remove everything I set up and then set it back up and put the mics back together and everything like that. I appreciate you so much, and you've helped revitalize my convention going experience. You know, it was rough there for a while between the golden age of cosplay and until after the pandemic. Honestly, you've been such a big help, so thank you.
So there's not like that many people today cosplaying. I'm assuming there's going to be more tomorrow, so I'm going to try to find some more people to talk to then, even though I'm doing the Masquerade tomorrow with Sairen's song. So maybe in the green room we can talk to some more people. Very small convention. It's always been a pretty chill convention, but I'm hoping that since I don't have any more panels tomorrow, that I can just walk around and do whatever until the Masquerade. And of course, Sunday, I don't think I'm going to find anybody that day.
And that wraps up day 1 of Ganime. The plans for tomorrow are to arrive an hour or so before judging time and to focus on the Masquerade. It's crazy how much I used to have time to do things at these conventions, and now it's like time slips away so quickly. Mind you, I wasn't going around interviewing people in the past, but still, everything does feel so fast. Anyone else? This elevator looks like a bathroom.
It really does.
Bathroom with friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did arrive an hour early, maybe less, before our judging time, but they told us to just come in and start the whole process early. So, no wandering around time.
We're practicing our skit like nerds on the side in the green room.
Got our audio. And there's the gang. On Instagram, I'm zoili.cos. I've been cosplaying for 9 years, competing for 8, and right now I am wearing Rosie from Has Been Hotel.
I am commonly_cos, and I'm cosplaying Soukaku from Zenless Zone Zero, and I've been cosplaying for about 7 years.
I have so many ruffles on this skirt, and it weighs like so heavy, so that's what I'm going through at the moment. the all of the like gathering and all of the pleats, there's just so many small details about this build, and I worked with historical techniques, so it's just so time consuming to get all the gathers to look good, like on the front of the shirt and everything. Never again.
On my end, I guess I struggled with the horns at first, but I ended up making them hold with Warbler. And I think that's the best idea I've had, because it's really easy to like put back in and take back out. It's awesome, honestly. So
Sneaky.
Yeah. I made my cosplay in 10 days. I do really like making foam builds, so it has to be the sewing for me. I have like another jacket that's not the OG jacket. It was already pre-made, but I had to like refix some stuff out of it, and it's made out of jean. It's really thick. I'm not good at sewing, so it did not go well.
It's my first cosplay doing foam work. I have the silly little cabochons on. Oh, and I lost a nail. I have the silly cabochons on the hat, and it was my first time working with foam, and it was really scary, but I'm really proud of myself for doing it.
My first official time working with Warbler, so the Warbler on here and the Warbler Oz pin over here. I'm not very good with the face paint though, so that's in the first time doing non-white face paint. I'm the same color as the mic.
My first big ball gown build got stuck in the Montreal Comic-Con main hall elevators, like right before judging. So, yeah, that has like imprinted itself in my brain. I'm never going near the elevator. I only take the ascenseur now.
Oh my gosh. On my end, one of the biggest malfunctions, I had a huge prop for a cosplay for a competition I did like 5 years ago, my last competition. Right before going on stage, about like 10 minutes before, we were practicing our sketch and my prop broke in half. Yep. And we had to like rush to super glue it, and we just glued our hands in the process. Everything was filled with super glue. It was horrible. We didn't want to participate anymore, but we still did, and we won a prize. It got stuck together for the prize, and our fingers too, but you know. Cosplay who you like and build on something that you really, really want to cosplay, not something that's popular or that'll get you likes or followers or people to like come up to you, because otherwise you're not gonna have fun doing it at all.
Yeah. Cosplay's uncomfortable, so like be happy about what you're doing.
Yeah. Struggle with something that you like.
Yeah. Take your time. Like, I know there's like a culture of con crushing and everything, but like the amount of more proud I was the second I took more than like a week to make my cosplays is insane. So, and also give yourself time. Like, it's okay if you don't master a technique the first time around. Nobody does. Take your time. That's like my main thing.
So I've had a breaking prop incident myself, and it was at the Masquerade on stage. It was Guts and Casca cosplays, and in the skit, I was supposed to swing at my friend, and he was supposed to step out of the way and trip me. Now, I had done a little bit of wrestling, so I planned on doing a front bump on the stage to make loud noise, you know, very dramatic. And when I did so, I planned on doing a front bump with just one hand so that my sword wouldn't hit the stage. Now, I got a little enthusiastic when the moment actually came, and my sword did in fact hit the stage, and the blade broke off from the hilt. Now, I kind of had to think fast in that moment, and that's what you have to do when things go wrong on stage at the Masquerade. Think fast and play it off. I knew I had to turn back around. What I did was I grabbed my blade and I held it with my hilt. So if you were from this side, you would see that I'm holding the blade onto the hilt, but from that side, I hoped at least that it looked like my blade was still coming out of the hilt. And I like to think nobody noticed, and at least if they didn't, I hope they were a little confused at the fact that maybe they thought they saw it break. But it's somehow still put together, we'll never know.
My handle on Instagram is mackerelmmmike. In terms of cosplay, I'm fairly new to the scene myself. I only really started like kind of in the tail end of COVID, you know, picking up some cheap Amazon kits here and there, and eventually decided I kind of want to, you know, make them my own.
Well, welcome to cosplay and making cosplays, and welcome to the Masquerade. It's your first Masquerade too?
This is actually my second one. The first Masquerade that I did was at Anime Ottawa back in 2024. It was the same cosplay, but I had a different iteration on the prop mace that I had. It was more of just a solid block of plastic. The convention staff there were a little bit antsy about it. It uses a lot of off-the-shelf electronics. It's very approachable. Red, green, blue RGB color strips off of like Amazon, fairly inexpensive, and they can make like a fantastic addition to any cosplay. Plugging in these strips, you know, you get like a little remote controller and you're off to the races. Like, it's very approachable. Like, it's you don't need to have any kind of fancy electronics background. The giant mace was essentially 3D printed of a lot of different parts. Getting those parts to line up, slicing them in the software, doing all that modeling process, and getting something that was cohesive at the end of the entire project was definitely time consuming, and took a lot of trial and errors. Getting the diffusion through the layers of plastic in the prints. So it's like, you know, sourcing a material that will let the light through, but not make it too obvious that there's actually like little LEDs behind it to make it like a little bit even.
You said this was one of your first cosplays. One of my questions is, what has been your biggest cosplay wardrobe malfunction? Has there been any with this one?
Yes, actually, and it ties back to my first Masquerade last year at Anime Ottawa. When I went on stage, part of the skit that I was doing involved like a little sumo slam, you know, drop the foot, and of course, you know, the cheap AliExpress or Amazon in this case sandals, very poor construction altogether. So what had happened was that when I did slam my foot down on the stage, the slash just gave out under me.
As a newcomer, what is your advice to newcomers?
And just general advice, honestly, with any project, ambition is great, but like, you kind of have to take it one step at a time. Simpler projects, you know, I do have in mind like to have some fancy light show built into this thing with a lot of different like lighting effects and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get, you know, the basic lighting effect under control, and then, you know, we'll iterate from there. So really, it's patience and building your skill set, and, you know, getting improvement.
We did it! We did it! We did it! That's costing.
I will share the footage of the stage later. So usually after the Masquerade, people are pretty tired and they kind of just want to go home, so I didn't want to bother this beautiful Elden Ring cosplayer for an interview, but I did get some footage of their cosplay. And if you're watching this and you would have said yes to an interview, I'm sorry, I probably should have asked. I was just overthinking it and didn't want to be a bother. But now that the Masquerade was over, it was off to the game room. So the game room at Ganime used to have so many more things in it. From what I understand, it was all donation based, and when things would break and there wouldn't be parts to replace it, or there wouldn't be somebody who knew how to fix it, or it would cost too much, they just ended up retiring the different machines and the different games and consoles and things. So I didn't find Galaga this time, and I didn't find Section 8, and I fear the worst for them. Maybe rest in peace, my sweet games. But looks like the giant games like Mega Jenga and Giant Connect 4 are still there. I haven't played Connect 4 much in my life, but it's a simple enough concept. However, what it really is a game of deception and distraction. But you see, it is she who is the fool, for now I may begin. Of course, I can't allow that bottom row to proceed any further. And now comes deception. I act natural, like the game is at the standstill in which it began. I see what she's doing here, but she does not see me. And now, my act is at its most important. If she sees me for who I am now, it's over. And the speed at which she responded here tells me that I remain invisible. So invisible, in fact.
Oh, shit!
Now, there's not much footage of the end of Saturday, and we were pretty tired after the Masquerade, so there was no back home footage. We kind of just got back and ate and watched some YouTube and went to sleep. But the next day, Sunday, is the award ceremony. Some contests out there have same-day awards. Ours are next day. Being in the Master Division, we get to watch as the Novice Division excitedly go get their prizes, their Journeymen do the same, and it's like reliving the process I once went through. And so with that, we also get to watch the Artisan Division look forward to Master. And with so many amazingly crafted costumes, when our number wasn't called, I assumed we had just not made the cut. But... What? I fucking told you! We got called for Best in Class Workmanship. I think I threw my phone at Ken and ran off with Sairen. To be honest, it too is a blur. And of course, one can never forget the Best in Show prizes. Or as my sister would call it, Ultimate Grand Supreme. Got our thing. Now, before I show you this footage, I just want you to know that it is a very small convention, so it is a very small stage, and there was a great number of audio issues occurring that night, which was actually quite nerve-wracking for some of the newcomers in the Masquerade. So I thought I would take the opportunity to tell you guys what to do if there's an audio issue when you end up on stage. If the wrong audio plays, or if something's wrong with it, don't start your skit. Just stay there, calmly signal to the MC that there's a problem with the audio. The MC will notice you. You can leave the stage or set back up again once the audio is fixed, and no points, whatever system is going on, will be taken from you. Accidents happen and it's not on you, it's not your fault. Now, the stage ninjas have barely any time to set up and know what they have to do for your skit. So, kudos to them for the good job that they tend to do. So if our skit looks a little bit not so rehearsed, just know that we don't have our own stage ninjas, so there actually is no stage rehearsals. Actually, for anybody, there's no stage rehearsals other than the rehearsals that they might have done on their own time. In our case, we didn't really get to have a rehearsal with the stage ninjas, which we do have to actively interact with. Also, I'm going to be overlaying our audio because we worked hard on it, and if I don't overlay it, you guys won't hear all the work that we did with the left and right bus. So it'll be more noticeable this way.
Entry number 53 in the Master Division. The best bait there is.
Why are you doing this? Well, I ain't torching you, sweetheart. I'm using you as bait. God damn it!
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have just let you use me as bait in a poison river?
Those gulpers digest real slow.
No.
Come on. And let's hope we don't get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
It was entry number 53 in the Master Division, a cosplay made by StaticTides and Sairen song, inspired by the Fallout series.
So like I said, we had a fantastic time making our audio for our skit. Luckily, I didn't have to do this, but Sairen Song had to run laps in the apartment and come back, and we pressed record so that she would sound naturally out of breath for her lines. That and sitting on the floor kicking at the air, it was a really fun time. You know, it's funny, all the work that goes into our costumes, all the hours of work that go into our costumes, the hours that go into making our audios, figuring out our skits, all of that just to lead up to that very moment at the Masquerade. And that moment tends to just be a blur at the end of the night, and it tends to remain a blur as well. But you know what? It's a blur that I gladly look forward to each time. And for the last few years, I've been feeling pretty numb going to conventions. I just wasn't enjoying them as much as I used to when I first started. Don't worry, my passion for costume making has never wavered, but having Ken there to help me has been fantastic, and getting to show him the world of conventions and the world of cosplay has been really nice. I also credit to the wonderful cosplayers I spoke to. Listening to you guys talk about your craft has made me so happy. And I'll admit, I usually don't talk to that many people at cons, and this for me was a way to do so, and you guys ended up giving me more than that. You guys gave me a taste of your passion and your excitement for the hobby and the craft, and it really did warm my heart to go through all of those clips. So thank you. And of course, thank you for having been my guinea pigs in this experiment. Like I said earlier, it's my first time doing this sort of thing. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please give me your feedback in the comments. Let me know what you like, let me know what you think I should do differently, what I should improve on, your suggestions, etc. I enjoyed this though. I'd like to do more of it. So until next time, my friends, Godspeed.